The flash fires on an empty highway, and the enforcement terminal prints a ticket for a chassis number that does not exist yet. Only a speed camera photo of a vehicle model no manufacturer has built yet. The first witness does not scream. Dust shifts across the table before the door opens. The witness lowers their hand before anyone tells them what the evidence is. The first question is not what happened. It is why a speed camera photo of a vehicle model no manufacturer has built yet already knows the witness. The safe explanation is a camera clock drifting under load. For almost 1 minute, that explanation works. Then, the witness transcript quotes a sentence nobody has spoken yet, and the room stops feeling like a place people can leave. A private memory becomes physical evidence in front of strangers. Someone laughs once, too quietly, then asks to leave without looking away. The archive can keep its labels. The story belongs to the person who realizes a speed camera photo of a vehicle model no manufacturer has built yet has started answering them personally. The air has the flat, wet smell of a room after power has been off too long.
The next contradiction is not bigger, it is closer. The room remembers the witness before the witness enters. Now the witness has to decide whether the evidence is a warning, a lure, or a rehearsal. The camera is not seeing the future. The highway is using future evidence to choose where it will exist next. The opening no longer looks like the first scene. It looks like the moment the room chose who would remember it. They step away from the camera and refuse to say whose voice came through it. The last sound is a voice practicing the witness's answer. The file ends because the archive runs out of procedure, not because the witness runs out of fear. When the camera returns, a mislabeled intake file almost holds. Then the clean recording keeps the damage and loses the voice. "If it says my name again, I'm leaving," someone whispers. "Don't answer it." The camera stops being information and starts sounding like a demand. The recording ends with the table waiting for another hand. The private cost arrives quietly. Every explanation asks one person to give up a piece of what they remember. Solving the case matters less than what the witness has to give up. The witness reaches for an ordinary explanation, then stops. The nearest person steps back like the evidence has recognized them. The corrected copy changes first. When the camera returns, the room has learned the witness's next move. The final tag is signed in handwriting the witness has not learned yet. A light flickers once, then holds steady as if someone has warned it. The archive wants a label, but the first person in the room forgets a name they had just written down. A hand stays above the table. A name is avoided, and one breath arrives too late. The room pressures the witness before anyone understands what noticed them first. The choice lands before the mechanism becomes clear. The evidence returns only after it has changed a person, a memory, or a private lie. Each added detail makes the witness less certain they arrived after the event began. A witness looks for permission to laugh, then realizes nobody else heard the same thing. The file tries to stay procedural, but the witness realizes the room knows which lie they were about to tell. That is where the horror leaves the object and enters the room. The next silence has shape. The evidence is sealed, but the seal is warm. Everyone hears it differently, and only one person understands why. The final ordinary sound is not a scream. It is the camera, repeated once, after everyone agrees the room is empty. The evidence waits in plain view, while the witness invents reasons not to look at it. The danger is not death. It is being edited out of your own account. The consequence arrives through one clear detail. A reflection arrives half a second before the person casting it. Ordinary procedure fails because a person changes before the evidence does. The room narrows around the witness. A staffer pockets the key, then cannot remember which door it opens. The cost is small enough to deny and personal enough to ruin them. A rational explanation almost survives. Battery failure. Then, the evidence stops matching itself and starts matching the witness, and someone in the room has to abandon the safest answer. By now, an abandoned highway segment where the mile markers repeat feels rehearsed.
The timestamp clicks forward in a room where every clock has been unplugged. The witness is no longer investigating the event. The event is testing the witness. The lights stay ordinary, which makes the contradiction worse. The second playback removes the safest explanation. Nobody can blame spectacle for what changed. The archive can seal evidence, but it cannot seal what the witness remembers next. The recording catches a breath that does not belong to anyone on the log. The safest explanation breaks in a human place. A hand stops, a name disappears, and the camera waits in plain view. No one in an abandoned highway segment where the mile markers repeat says the fear out loud. A mislabeled intake file still sounds useful until the room remembers the witness before the witness enters. The room gives the witness one more chance to deny it. Then the camera answers with the detail they were hiding. What hurts is how ordinary the evidence remains. The witness understands that touching it would feel like agreement. The file can call it a discrepancy, but the witness has already changed. By the final pass, the evidence is not louder, it is closer. The witness repeats the wrong date and starts crying before they understand why. The witness transcript quotes a sentence nobody has spoken yet. "Who told you that?" the witness asks. And every light in an abandoned highway segment where the mile markers repeat answers by going still. Stay with the witness after the obvious explanation fails. Someone has to choose whether to trust their memory or the object in front of them. The room does not become louder, it becomes more personal. A mislabeled intake file fails because the room remembers the witness before the witness enters. The evidence is sealed, but the seal is warm. One more practical detail changes what the witness can trust. The evidence stays ordinary enough to touch, and that is why touching it feels like answering. The next proof belongs to a person, not a file. The first person in the room forgets a name they had just written down. The horror keeps shrinking until it fits inside one remembered detail. The corrected copy changes first. A second silence arrives after the room should be safe. A corrupted export from an older case almost explains it. Then the final tag is signed in handwriting the witness has not learned yet. Keep the camera on the person who tries not to react. The camera makes the room feel chosen instead of observed. A camera clock drifting under load still sounds useful until the second playback removes the safest explanation the room gives. The witness one more chance to deny it. The room goes quiet only after someone says the wrong name. The room remembers the witness before the witness enters. "No, no, no, that's tomorrow." The sentence lands wrong because the camera has already filed it as yesterday. How does it know? The reply is almost too quiet to file. Not yet. The words come from below. An abandoned highway segment where the mile markers repeat and every safe explanation stops working. Wait. Did you hear that? The witness asks, and an abandoned highway segment where the mile markers repeat seems to hold its breath around the camera. Who answers when nobody has spoken? "Don't touch it," someone says, when the camera answers out of turn. But the warning arrives one breath too late. The witness realizes the room knows which lie they were about to tell. A camera clock drifting under load fails because the second playback removes the safest explanation. The case language stays locked to unbuilt car.